Yeah, Frank here has got his own billiard room.
Yes, it's what do you call it, Kramer?
Billiard room.
No, not billiard, not the billiards. It was
billiards room.
Come on already. Come on, we call it the
place to be.
The place to be. Yes, the place to be.
Then I shall be there.
Now, it's time. Live and in living color.
The Grandy Man can.
Time to play the game!
Well, you always left me satisfied and smiling, so...
That's what she said.
Why do I want this? I want to make bank, bro. I want to get ass. I want to drive a Range Rover.
Place to be Nation, Scott Criscola and Justin Rosero. This is the Place to Be podcast.
Very nice, Mr. Criscola.
Oh, I'm sorry, Dennis.
Isn't that what I just said? What is wrong with you?
Is it the Pelicans? I didn't know it was the Pelicans.
Oh,
I know nothing about the word Pelicans.
Yes.
I work during the fucking day, okay?
And so then I'm doing this, and then he touches me, and I swear to God, this is going to sound, this is probably one of those you want to pull out the audio for your promo. He touches me with his voodoo stick.
Until you fancy to make a decision, Scott's stuck twisting in the wind, a pawn in your sick, cruel game of vacation domination. I don't know what the fuck the Department of Health is. I think this whole thing's a load of horseshit, Matt.
You could do worse than Josh Richard.
I'm deep inside your children. I betray you in my name. Hey, hey, we'll sit down in the fire. Hey, hey, sit down in the fire. Is my expense, the scope of my desire. The party blessed me with its future. When I'm protected with fire, I am the leader, the PTB.
Place to be Nation, welcome back to another great episode of the one and only Place to Be Podcast. I am your co-host, Justin Rosero. Joining me, as always, is my PIC in the house, Scott Criscola. Scott, how you doing?
Good evening, JR. Always good to talk to you, sir. Another week begins through the season of spring. Welcome to another edition of the Place to Be Podcast. It is episode 218. And tonight, we actually are going to dip into the steel trap, known as, of course, V Squared, for a show that, for the calendar year 1999, I think is forgotten in a lot of ways.
Hey, what is going on here?
Jesus, you haven't walked out of the door in a while. Man, you're pasty.
Damn.
I haven't even walked in. Yeah, this is one of I've been looking forward to doing this one because this is one of those shows I think overall in the pantheon of 1999, even 2000, even this little first 2 years of the Attitude Era, this is actually a much better show than I think people remember it being, and I think people forget about it. I'm looking forward to it tonight because tonight, JR, is the first of many times this phrase will be said in WWFE lore. For after what seems like an eternity, but is barely 2 years, we are at the end of an era.
Not tonight! Not any night. That was the big Vince catchphrase.
Yes.
Then you go far away. Somebody's got to go for good. Listen to that you know that I can smile and say this will be the end of an era. Remember all the nights we shared together, and I'll remember every word you said. Yes, I'll be missing you when you go. Oh, when you go far away. We will see you later. The stakes are high. Somebody's gonna bleed as they've ever been. Somebody's gonna bleed. This will be the end of an era.
Indeed. That might be number 2 behind the awesome music at the beginning of the St. Valentine's Day Massacre.
To me, it's almost like they not completely, but pretty much ripped off that open with the, I mean, it's their own work, so it's okay, but with the kind of cheesy music setting up the story, and then the, kind of
Yeah.
sum it up. Like that was the same exact style they used at Valentine's Massacre. Of course, I pulled a complete Scott there and stomped over your setup. I'm sorry.
That's right. I guess I was owed that after all the times that I ever did it to you, so it's okay. Tonight, inside the Vintage Vault, one of the more maybe underrated shows. That's of course up to opinion of the nation. Fully Loaded, 1999. Kind of nestled in the middle there, amongst Owen and the whole Billy Gunn debacle, and then what we'll have next month. This show is kind of hidden, almost like the one the following year. I almost think is kind of hidden as well. I think that the following year, 2001, is when the July pay-per-view really, gets going in terms of historical importance. But these next 2 years, 99 and 2000, I think we'll see that this show is a lot better than people remember it.
All right, I don't usually humble brag my own comments, but I really, I really like this one. All I think is that the guy who set it up for me indirectly has the perfect name. Mm-hmm. So I was bitching. I don't know, Scott, if you're aware of this, but some jackass up in Toronto at the Maple Leafs fan has a sign that says "Toronto Stronger," mocking the Boston Strong logo. Right, and he's catching some shit.
Well, you better.
So I called him out on Facebook and get some people piling on, and Jesse Bai, who I believe is from that area. One of our good listeners here. So what about the Boston fan knocking out the Leafs fan after the last game? I said, didn't see that from my vantage point, Jess. I mean, come on, isn't that perfect setup with the name and everything?
Yes, of course.
Okay, good.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And you should have done "Will You Stop" right after it. No, that was more for Bobby.
Yeah.
But
anyway,
that was
sorry.
good.
I don't usually prop up my comments like that. But I think if it was any other name than the guy's actual name being Jesse, then I wouldn't have stopped the show dead in its tracks.
Yeah.
To pat myself on the back, Horowitz style. Scott, lovely weather here in the Northeast, but I was in quite a bitter mood. These assholes I play basketball with couldn't get their shit together enough to get 6 of us out there today. Wasted a perfectly beautiful mid-60s day.
Really?
Oh, I was heartbroken. Spent all day trying to find someone, and then things fell apart at the last minute, and I stomped home, and I did 2 rounds of DDP yoga to calm myself before the show because I was
burn it.
Fuming.
By the way, we have an update on that later on.
Oh, let's just do it now, actually.
Okay.
Because not everyone's on Facebook. So why don't you spin the quick yarn of how we ended up where we ended up?
Well, we obviously we've been planning this huge interview with Mr. Diamond Dallas Page. We were slated to do the record yesterday afternoon because he doesn't do, according to his representative, whose name I will not say because she's going to get blasted in a minute. She said that he doesn't do interviews after 6:30 at night. Okay, cool with that. How about 4 o'clock yesterday, Sunday the 5th? This was 2 weeks ago. And she goes, "Oh, that's awesome. How you want to do it?" I said, "Well, we do our interviews through Skype. Does he have a Skype handle?" "Yes, he does." Blah blah blah. Everything was set. Friday, because we usually let our guests or the representatives know 48 hours ahead. Mm-hmm. Just to make sure everybody's on the same page.
If we're nothing else, we're a professional, baby.
It's right.
Now eat that pussy right.
Yeah. So Friday morning, more than 48 hours technically. Friday morning about 10:30, I emailed the woman and said, remind you that we are set for Sunday 4 o'clock with the DDP. Thank you for the opportunity, and tell him we go either short or long, however he wants to do it. Same thing. Mm-hmm. Then seconds later, I get out of office. I am out of the office until Monday. Please, I will check my email intermittently. If this is urgent, email this person at blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. And then I went, I don't like where this is going. Well, after a few minutes, I said, well, is she going to read her email? Who knows? I mean, if you're a media firm like that, I think you would. But I emailed the other person anyway, saying, "Hey, I was working with this person on interviewing, blah blah blah, and let me know." And I didn't hear anything.
And then DDP said he heard you explain something, fell asleep, and forgot to call
in. Well, the weekend, we went through Friday. Where you and I kind of were like, "Oh, well, hopefully he knows and everything's cool." And we went through Saturday, Sunday. You and I, hopped on our systems around 20 to 4, and did our prep work.
Computers, yes.
Yes, prepped on our
systems. We fired up the TI-82 and
yes, exactly.
Calibrated the sine and the cosine.
We went into the mothership and
doesn't have cosine, Squattrito.
No, give me my calculator. It's Texas Instruments. By like 5 after, you were doing the Skype, even though he hadn't accepted the request, and kept going over and over and over. And finally, I tried to email her back. I said, look, it's 5:04. We're getting ready, and he hasn't answered the Skype request. Can you let us know what's going on? Then you were working on a separate angle of our interview, something totally separate, but working with the same group of people. And you were like, well, let me text the dude that I'm talking to about this other situation. And he ends up looking and realizing that this woman never put us on his calendar. So he texted DDP, and of course DDP was unavailable.
Yeah, sounds like it was actually like a sync issue with I'm guessing they used some kind of Apple probably calendar or something, so probably just didn't update sync over to his phone. I mean, we confirmed it with his other buddy Robert, and so anyway, long story short, we're hoping to reschedule sometime in the month of June. We are not giving up, and I don't think it was ever meant to be, so that we would be giving up or that he was trying to sandbag us or anything. I think it's going to happen.
No, and when I emailed her this morning, or last night, I was stern but professional, letting her know, it was quite embarrassing for our listeners to be prepared for a big interview that they've been looking forward to with one of their favorites and it not happening. And she said, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." And she gave us some dates, and he's out of the country for most of May, so we got to work something out. So stay here to the show, and we will let you know. It will definitely be happening. So
stand by to the PTB network of broadcasts, and we will catch you up as we move along. But we will definitely be having DDP on here. In the words of Derek LaRue, no, we did not lose DDP. He will be on. Just a little misstep, which we've had before with these interviews. So no big deal. We're right back at it here on a Monday with a Vintage Vault. So now that hopefully everyone fast-forwarded through that, longest book report ever, we are here and ready to go.
Here is the theme. Here are your characters. All right. July 25th, 1999. Live from the Marine Midland Arena in Buffalo, New York.
Home of the suck-ass Bills.
And the crappy Sabres. I don't believe, JR, we have been in Buffalo since we've done our new, the format. So why don't you give us a little history, if you have it in front of you, of the Marine Midland Arena?
I hope to never go to Buffalo. Let me see here.
There's a lot of people I know that thoroughly dislike that part of New York.
I'm sure it's all right.
I'm sure it's fine if you grew up there. Home of the Wings.
As they say in Suburban Commando, it's a nice place to live, but I wouldn't want to visit.
Yes.
What are we looking at here?
The Marine Midland Arena.
Hang on. I clicked on Buffalo itself.
It's a big city.
In a big state. All right. Broke ground November 4th, 94. Opened September 21st, 1996. Owned by Erie County. Operator of the Hockey Western New York LLC. Mm-hmm. Home of the Buffalo Sabres, the Buffalo Bandits, the Buffalo Destroyers, the Buffalo Blizzard, the Buffalo Wings of the RHI, and the Rochester Americans. And home, of course, to many, many wrestling shows, big time wrestling.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
There you go.
Yep. Your attendance, pretty rock solid. Let us know if this is a sellout, JR. 16,605.
It is more than a sellout. According to Wikipedia, the wrestling capacity is 16,597. So it looks like we had the obligatory standing room only here. So 6 people scattered throughout the arena.
Excellent. Buy rate 0.94. And
you're literally hanging from the rafters.
That's right. Is it happening, Jess? Your announcers, the voices of the Attitude Era, good old JR, Jim Ross, and Jerry the King Lawler. We have 3 Sunday Night Heat matches. JR, what are they?
Not tonight. Not any night. Sunday Night Heat matches on this evening. Val Venus defeated a new member of the Mean Street Posse, Joey Abs. We'll get to him probably next month, I think. Mm-hmm. The Godfather defeated this boy we've been talking about over and over. I haven't seen him yet. Meat. Mm-hmm. And Christian defeated Viscera.
Okay.
Kind of a tepid heat on this night.
Yes. Well, there was a lot of build, of course, to the big match, obviously later on in the evening, which you heard in our open, which we'll get to in a moment. Okay. Why don't we dive right in? As we have
I don't care what it is in your life that you title this, but you need to call something that you do on a daily basis the pimp drop. Now, I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's brushing your teeth, taking a shit, eating a waffle. There's something I want you to, when I'm asking you, hey, what's going on? What are you up to? I just did the pimp drop, and I'll know exactly what you mean. So come up with something.
I concur. I like that.
There needs to be something in your life known as the pimp.
Do you mind? I'm trying to do the pimp drop here.
Yeah, try to pimp drop it.
I told this. Oh man, I found this chick in the hallway, and man, I pimp dropped her. I probably don't want to do that. You might be in the clink. Might be in a Buffalo.
Will you stop?
My apologies, Mr. President. Okay, our first match is a championship match. The World Wrestling Federation Intercontinental title is on the line. We all know who our champion was. Speaking of the pimp drop, when we last spoke, it was. Well, no, it wasn't. He won the title afterwards. Of course, Over the Edge, that show, the Godfather was the champion.
Yep.
The week after, on the 531 Raw, he was defeated, JR, by
Double J, J-E-double-F, J-A-double-R-E-double-T, ha ha ha. Jeff Jarrett, your new Intercontinental Champion. Of course, many assume that he pretty much took the position that Owen Hart was meant to take. It seemed that way based on just the way the match went and the angle went. Did you think it was meant that that was a sign that Owen was going to win the IC title, or do you think they gave it to Jarrett kind of as a, I don't want to say feel-good thing, but...
Well, probably. I mean, in the year of belts pimp dropping all over the place, I don't think that the Godfather was meant for a long-term run anyway. So they probably were going along the same route.
Well, I guess my question is, do you think it was going to be Jarrett
eventually?
Well, like, do you think Owen was supposed to win, or do you think Godfather was going to defeat Owen and then Jarrett would be the one to win anyway? I guess is my question.
Something makes me think Godfather was going to keep it at Over the Edge.
Okay, so do you think Jarrett was the guy to beat him?
Yeah.
Okay, so you think nothing actually changed?
I don't think anything changed. I don't.
I never really thought of it that way because I always just assumed the Owen thing was true, that Blue Blazer would win Over the Edge. But I guess it would make sense the way Jarrett was kind of being booked and positioned.
Right.
That's how they'd go.
I mean, who knows how long Owen was going to stick around anyway? I mean, he had been talking.
Well, he had, 3 years? Didn't he sign like a 3-year deal, or he had a 3-year deal in 98? I think he had... I want to say he had at least one more, yeah.
Yeah, and then he said he wanted to go back to Calgary and become a firefighter.
Although you never know with the money and the way the business was popping, and you had some of the talent, in-ring talent that was starting to filter in late '99 and early 2000. Maybe talks himself into staying around a little bit longer. I mean, it would have been hard to turn.
Boy, let me tell you something though. With guys like, we'll get there. Slipped. With the guys that would eventually come in, and we'll obviously document them as we head along. Boy, that would have been great if he was sticking around. But anyway, in any event, I think everything went to plan. I think Owen wasn't. I think Blue Blades was not supposed to win it Over the Edge.
Okay. And
I think Jarrett was eventually going to win it because he was on a better heel run than Owen was, I think.
All right. Well, then we had another surprising IC title change the night before this show.
What?
At a Toronto house show, full of those stupid Toronto asshole fans. Special treat for him and his hometown fans. Edge.
What?
Defeated Jeff Jarrett for the IC title.
Wow.
Ken Shamrock was supposed to challenge Jarrett in a match. He was unable to make the show, so they had Edge sub in, and they had him win the title to make up for the no-show, knowing that they could easily reverse it here, since these guys were set to fight anyway on the pay-per-view. Right. So Edge and the Brood had actually kind of parted ways here. The Edge and Christian were having issues with Gangrel. Gangrel wasn't really happy with the way they had been acting as of late,
right?
So he turned on them. So Edge and Christian are kind of out on their own now, basically positioned as faces. And Edge here has a brief one-day title reign because in this match, Scott, Jeff Jarrett regains that title.
Yes, he does.
With the stroke.
Yep. Stroke, which is pretty much a Russian leg sweep kind of thing.
Yeah, front Russian leg sweep.
Front Russian leg sweep. I like this match. Wasn't bad.
Yeah, it's a good showcase for Edge. We haven't really, the last time Edge has really been highlighted on a show was, I guess if you want to count that breakdown match with Owen, but really was SummerSlam when he had the big win over Mero and Jacqueline. I mean, since then, he's just kind of bounced around with Christian or not even been on these shows. So this is really the first kind of bump they got him. Do you look at this almost like Brett in 88?
Ah, you son of a bitch. Took the thought right out of my head. I was about to ask you the same question.
Oh, there you go.
There we go. The answer is yes. I do think so. I do. Maybe not as definitive.
Right.
As with Brett. I think they knew all along when Brett came in whatever it was, late 84, early 85 or whatever. I think they knew he was destined to be a single star just based on his pedigree and Stu's kid and everything, but he obviously had to be in a tag team. This was different. This was I think Edge was special, but he didn't have the cred, the house money that Bret had. So I think Edge has had to earn his keep, and obviously he's the pretty boy of the Brood, and the chicks dug him. So I think that didn't hurt matters. Mm-hmm. And let's be honest, he's not that bad a wrestler, and he seems like a guy that could be molded and get better and just get better. And obviously with the fans either liking him or hating him, depending on his side of the fence, that was working in his favor too, because he knew how to put over his character, and he'll really make a big splash in 2000. This was just a taste.
Right.
Obviously, Bret was never given the IC title on a whim, but then again, things were different in the late 80s.
And it's kind of right place, right time. And if they weren't in Toronto, if they were somewhere else, would they still have used Edge in that spot? But maybe, because Edge was set to face Jarrett here anyway. What's funny, Scott? Always kind of, when I think back to this era, I always think as soon as the Owen thing happened and Jarrett kind of got split off on his own, that things changed for him and he started to really get a big push and be awesome. But
right.
It hadn't happened yet. Reading these Raw recaps today leading into the show, he still really wasn't there yet. He still was kind of floating around aimlessly, and just him and Deborah would come out and weren't really getting into any kind of meaningful feuds. I guess it was still another few weeks away before he would really start to hit his stride.
Yeah, and I wonder if Owen, maybe Owen, maybe if he had, obviously lived, I wonder if he had turned face. Do you think that maybe the Blue Blazer would have been kind of turned babyface?
Maybe he was heading that way.
A feud with Jarrett,
Yeah, it could have been heading that way.
Yeah, it could have been heading that way. Now, mind you, being in the throes of the Attitude Era, I don't know if the Blue Blazer would have gone over as well. Maybe, though. I mean, people weren't total, fans weren't total sleazebags about the past. So there's a good chance that he could have, that eventually that's where they were leading. But I definitely was digging Jarrett's character at this point. You're right, though. It was still a little bit left to tweak. But he definitely was... They
just didn't have any kind of hot program or anything. He wasn't really involved in anything special. It's like he just would kind of come out and... He was almost fodder for other feuds. Like two other guys were feuding. They'd have him be the one wrestling one of the guys, and then someone else would come out and interfere. So he's almost just there to fill space for guys that were feuding.
Mm-hmm. Also, Deborah didn't hurt either. I mean, he was getting
carrying him at this point. I mean, it seems like anytime he wins, just because she's getting involved. So, which is fine.
Right.
But he's not really doing much on his own at this point.
Yeah, no. So he wins the match with a little, Brood interference by Gangrel. And, JR, a record was set on this night in Buffalo. With the win, Jeff Jarrett won his 5th Intercontinental Championship, breaking the record set by...
Hey, I may have a winner!
No, not him. Set by a guy that was in that tournament that Ardo Dano is referring to, and that is, of course, Reza Ramon. So at some point in history, JR, Jeff Jarrett was the winningest Intercontinental Champion of all time. Strange, isn't it?
Yeah.
You almost forget that he won 4, because that stretch in 95, him and Razor were bouncing the belt all over the place. So there it is. 5th Intercontinental Championship win for Jeff Jarrett. How about that?
How about it?
And this is not how about it. And it's not a knock on Edge, again, as JR and I have talked about. This has nothing to do with Edge specifically. This more has to do with, Jarrett winning and Edge, just being in the right place at the right time. So, at least the night before. So a pretty good opener. Mm-hmm. And Edge, showcases himself. Obviously, he'll go back into the tag division. And things look up for him from there. So.
Yep. And actually, just to mention quickly, we mentioned the Gangrel turn. He actually interfered in this match as well.
Yes.
And helped Jarrett win. So Deborah helped, and then Gangrel helped as well.
Yes. Now, right after the match, out comes we won't say what he is, but out comes Stone Cold Steve Austin. Mm-hmm. Of course, is wrestling later on in the evening. He's got a bandage on his head from something that happened. We'll tell you what that something is later. Stuns Jarrett, gets rid of him, and says he's going to return the favor to the Undertaker for something that Taker did earlier in the evening.
And Austin actually had stunned Jarrett on Raw as well. And there were actually rumors that they were going to maybe feud coming up here. We'll get to that as we move along. But so you wonder if this was just kind of random or if it was starting to build a little bit of heat between these two for later on.
Yeah, interesting.
Very
Our second match. What? Oh, I thought you said something.
I said very interesting, that's all.
Yes, very
Like
interesting.
Dracula style, I said it.
Ah, I see.
Dracula and his son.
Pimp dropped. I'm really upset you didn't play basketball tonight. Very upset.
Look what you did, you little jerk.
That's what you were thinking about not getting anybody. That's what.
Oh, I was fuming, my friend.
What a beautiful night, too. I went to the gym.
Oh, I know.
Ugh,
Trust me.
sucks. You don't get,
I
don't
know.
get this kind of Mondays.
Right, I know.
Terrible. Okay. Guess what? Another title match.
What?
Yes.
Can't handle all these titles.
Oof, more coming. World Wrestling Federation Tag Team
That's what she said.
Championships on the line. On the line. In a no disqualification match, JR, your champions, members of the ministry, Farouk, Bradshaw, the
They're not
Acolytes.
champions. They're not the champions, sir.
No, they are not the champions. I should have read the sentence further. Damn it, I should have played basketball.
Should do your homework.
They were the former, I pimp dropped. The former tag team champions. They won on an episode of Raw before King of the Ring. But when did they lose?
They lost on the 6/29 Raw to Matt and Jeff Hardy, the Hardy Boys.
What?
Their manager, Michael Hayes, their little father figure, helped them win the titles, used his little walking cane. And there you go.
Mm-hmm. Now, what were your thoughts on this? Was this kind of a... This was a pretty big upset at the time.
Yes, it was. They had won, of course, the #1 contender slot by beating Edge and Christian at King of the Ring, and they cashed in on that Raw. And yeah, it was a big deal because the Hardys, even though they'd been around a while, they hadn't really been featured as featured players in the tag division that long. But I think the Hayes angle and piece of that really helped push them along a lot quicker than normally would have happened. So I think that was a big, big part of it. And a big reason why they did get the titles. Now, their reign would be quite short-lived here because they do lose them back to the Acolytes at this show. And Michael Hayes is actually in the match. It's a 3-on-2 match, no DQ. So Hayes takes the loss, and that'll eventually lead to some strife we'll get to next month. But I liked the show Faith in the Hardys. It was like another little taste test for a new team. And maybe just trying to see if they had what it took. And, I like this little... After a rough 98 and early 99, like we said the last couple of shows, we're trying to get some solidity back into the tag division now. Where the Acolytes are your champions. You get the Hardys facing them off and Edge and Christian in the mix. And it was good to see some legit tag teams get some runs here. So Acolytes and Hardys have a nice little feud. Acolytes take advantage of the no DQ stip and pick up the win back here and get the titles back.
Yes. Also... this was the debut of the very familiar and almost iconic Hardy Boys entrance music, which would be used by both of them throughout the rest of their careers. Of course, it is not being used at all right now because neither of them are here.
But, of course, before this, they had like the old mid-90s Prodigy kind of wow, that fucking crazy music. And I remember that song very vividly because we used to always play the WrestleMania 2000 video game for Nintendo 64. They had it in there, so that was always one of the songs I always remember very vividly.
But there is one question I must ask: were they masters of the martial arts?
Not many were.
Nope. There's only one video game master of the martial arts. Okay, so there you go. The Acolytes regain their World Wrestling
You're really
Federation.
having a hard time getting a grasp on this one, huh?
I can't. Where did this title change happen? Damn it! So the Acolytes, once again, 2-time World Wrestling Federation Tag Team Champions. Stone Cold, still pissed off at The Undertaker for something we haven't mentioned yet, and he's stalking the back looking for him. What did he do? We'll tell you later. I got bad news for you, JR. Another title match! Belts galore here at Fully Loaded. For our next match is for the World Wrestling Federation European Championship. Some people might have forgotten that that belt was actually still around. Of course, the last time we talked about it was at WrestleMania when Shane McMahon, who was the champion, defeated X-Pac. Of course, that was the big Triple H heel turn. Then after that, Shane decided, I don't feel like wrestling anymore, and I can do pretty much whatever I want, so I'm going to retire as European champion and just carry the belt around and screw any of you if you don't like it. But JR, something happened with the European title. Let us know what.
Well, on the 621 Raw, Shane and Vince were giving the corporate ministry a little pep talk and finished up by asking if there were any questions. Midian had one, said, I was in your bag over there a minute ago and saw you had an extra belt. I lost mine. Do you mind if I have it? Shane just wanted to blow him off, tell him to go ahead and take it. Later in the night, during a Mark Henry Viscera match, Midian appeared with the European title. Used it to lay out Henry and D'Lo, who was in Henry's corner. If you harken back to March, of course, as you said, Shane had won the European title and then kind of stored it in his gym bag. So D'Lo wanted his beloved European title back, and we set this match up here.
Mm-hmm.
Midian, European champion.
Yes. 3 title matches, back to back to back. Really loaded up the front of the show.
It is fully loaded.
You've got to be kidding me.
Thank God he did that because I didn't want to do the har. But anyway, yeah, unfortunately, unlike the first 2, which were watchable and kind of fun, this wasn't. Not very good. But D'Lo, though, really starting to gain a following here now. Him and Mark Henry were, I don't want to say they were becoming a comedy team, but they were becoming quite popular. I think a lot of people gave D'Lo cred for his in-ring work, which harkens back to mid-98. The matches he had with, Val Venus and X-Pac. And his promos were good.
Mm-hmm.
So really, D'Lo's turning into a complete package for a mid-carder.
He really was. I feel like this was maybe, they kind of slowed him down a little bit earlier in the year, but it seemed like they were ramping his push back up now to really be a main player in the upper mid-card, and that'll continue over the next 2 months. And it begins here when he quickly regains his European title clean at 7-10. And I think this is just a reason, the belt was a prop earlier in the year just to further the Shane X-Pac feud. And I think they realized here that they wanted to get it back on D'Lo, get it back on an active competitor. So they just did the Midian thing just to kind of get a laugh and then quickly get it back on someone. So I didn't mind the way they did it. They weren't going to have Shane job it, not at this point. So I thought this was pretty well done the way they did it.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, it was goofy to have a title change because someone found a belt in the fucking gym bag, but whatever, I mean.
True, but
it's only the European title.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the Attitude Era, and everybody accepted kind of everything. So,
and this is a belt that's already changed hands once by nefarious means with Triple H and Shawn Michaels. So
exactly. So, and at least the whole end of it was it goes back to a guy who earned it, deserved it, and expected it.
So, a guy that wanted it.
Yeah, exactly. And he would actually get himself into a pretty good feud, which we'll discuss on the next Vault. He gets himself into actually a pretty good feud, a feud that I remember liking, actually.
Shoot on you like I'm hanging with Feinstein.
Yes. Rob? Oh. So D'Lo Brown is your new, I don't know, what is this, 3-time, I guess? Or 2-time? I guess 3-time.
He traded it a bunch of times.
Yeah, maybe it's more than that.
It could be 100 times.
We're going to look that up. Multi-time. Could be 100. I'm the only one here.
7,000.
7,000.
Well, he held it 4 times total. So it depends on was this his last reign? I don't know.
I don't know.
No, he'd win it one more time. So this is number 3.
Okay. There we go. And a guy who definitely deserved it. So there we go. D'Lo Brown, who first won the European title back last July of 98. Of course, traded it with X-Pac a couple times, and then here he is right here. So congrats to D'Lo, your new World Wrestling Federation European champion. Backstage, Stone Cold still stalking for The Undertaker. Why? Why is he stalking The Undertaker? We will let you know.
Har, har, har.
You nearly found... It's only a matter of time before you'd find somebody that actually says that in a video clip. Okay.
You don't know you don't know what that was?
I kind of heard it, but not really. Play it again. Can you play the video clip again?
I got a hustler spirit, pop spirit. You are just a washer wannabe. That's the way I see it. Har, har, har. You
your stick is played. We don't give a shit. No matter where you go, you are what you are, Scott. You could try to change, but I'm Saxon. You'll always be Walmart.
Why did you play that? It's the only time he'll ever get on this show anyway. He is the 99th problem. Okay, we continue on.
By the way, have we mentioned, I know I sent you the clip, did we talk about how Obama fucking copped our flow?
What?
At the White House Correspondents' Dinner?
Yes.
Came out to, or no, he didn't come out to it, but he used the 99 Problems as a joke. What the fuck was the joke? I thought it was actually kind of funny. It's 99 Problems. Oh, what the fuck was it?
I don't remember who he was referring to.
Did I text it to you or email it?
You emailed it to me.
Oh.
I forgot who he was referring to. Regardless.
Regardless.
That's right. It was probably written on a cue card anyway. Okay.
Let's get John Walters and Kevin Kelly on. We'll do the whole fucking thing about the conservatives.
Oh God, no!
We'll
please
talk about the gun control.
Oh God, we want people to listen to this episode more than once. Okay.
Do the whole thing. We'll sit around the pool table, Judge Bubba.
Hey, you know what? I totally forgot that when Taker fought Yoko in front of you at the dunk, that Kabuki was one of the heels that came in the ring. I didn't know that.
Okay.
It's playing in the event center right now.
All right.
So you were in the same building as the Great Kabuki.
All right. So I may have lost a step, but some things are beyond my control. But example, this whole controversy about Jay-Z going to Cuba. It's unbelievable. I've got 99 problems, and now Jay-Z is one. I thought it was pretty funny.
Now it's 100. Josh Richer wishes he was one of Obama's problems. Okay. Next up, guess what? JR.
What?
Another title match.
Oh, my Lord. Title matches galore.
4 in a row to start this show. This time, the World Wrestling Federation Hardcore Championship is on the line.
Hardcore.
Exactly. Yes! I got a copy. I'm going to have to give you $2 to copyright that. Okay.
Yeah, I got $2 steak.
Got $2. I want my $2. All right. Of course, your World Wrestling Federation Hardcore Champion, Al Snow, who, of course, won it at Backlash and has had it since, taking on your boy, actually our boy, because I like him too, in his first pay-per-view title match, JR, in what? 8 years. 8 years, JR, since our man, the Big Boss Man.
Oh.
Well, first pay-per-view singles title match.
Singles title match. Since,
because don't forget, he was involved in the tag title feud.
Yes, exactly. My bad. Singles.
Yeah.
Singles pay-per-view title match. Since, of course, taking on Mr. Perfect at WrestleMania 7. I was excited about this, believe it or not, because I love Boss Man anyway, and all those years did not have a title opportunity, except at WrestleMania 7. Of course, go back to the Vault to talk about that when we talk about that match.
And of course, Boss Man had did the quick one-night turn where he was kicked out of the corporation. The next night on Raw, he rejoined in the first segment, Michael McDonald, right away. And just kind of been doing the corporate ministry thing over the next few weeks. This feud didn't really kick off until about the week before the show again, when Snow was kind of out there calling out any kind of contenders, and Boss Man came out, they fought. And then Boss Man handcuffed him and beat the piss out of him with the nightstick. I really laid into him pretty good, and that set the stage for this match here. So it went to a no contest. Snow went crazy, throwing chairs and the bell. And before he told Boss Man to hit him, Snow was cuffed again and beaten with the nightstick. So Snow kind of going crazy. He had a little side issue going on with the Draws and Prince Albert. Prince Albert's not a guy we really talk about yet much, but he had driven a railroad spike through the skull of Head, and that was apparently driving Snow crazy, and that was leading to him being even more bananas than normal here. So this feud kind of rejuvenates for the first time in a while, and but we're back at it. Boss Man back in the hardcore division, and he wins the title.
What?
With a baton shot at 10:29. I like this. A little fun hardcore match. Snow's really been carrying this division on his back. Even though he loses the title here, he'll still be a stalwart there. But Boss Man now has the title back around his ample waist.
Yes. Now, the only weird thing about this match was, why was he allowed to pin Al Snow on a fence? He was leaned against the fence. Boss Man just kind of draped himself over him, and the ref counted. Very weird. I don't know what that was about, but hey, regardless, it counted. And the Big Boss Man wins his first singles WWF Championship of his storied career, as he is your new World Wrestling Federation Hardcore Champion. So we've had 4 title matches.
No, we're not.
Speaking of hardcore idiots. So 4 title matches to start the show, and let's see, 1, 2, 4 title changes. How about that? 4 completely new champions, JR, in the first, hour of this show.
It's the Attitude Era, baby. Send them home happy.
What were your thoughts on that at the time? I'm curious. I'm curious. This is one of the big questions that I want to ask. I want to ask Kevin when he comes back on. What was his thoughts on all these titles bouncing around?
Yeah, it was just the time period. I mean, everything was about ratings and staying ahead of the competition, and title changes helped that. I think. I mean, on one hand, it sucked because the titles really, really became devalued. But on the other hand, it kind of spoke to parity. And they didn't always totally push that, but that's kind of the feel you get, that a lot of these guys were just on an even playing field and anyone could beat anyone on any night. So there's no real dominant champions. Everyone's kind of over. It's almost like the opposite of today, where nobody's over because they all beat each other. Back then, it was like everyone was over and could steal a win at any time, and it was kind of believable. Maybe it's just more due to the booking of the characters, I thought. Mm-hmm. So on one hand, I thought it was bad to devalue the titles and title changes, and it didn't seem like as big of a deal as it used to. But on the flip side, it kind of added that air of, wow, anything really can happen. And all these guys really are in an even play field. All these guys, on any given night, we could see the title change. So I think it's almost speaking to that more than anything kind of negative. But yes, I do think, like many things during this era, it did irreparable damage that really has come back to hurt them.
Right. Yeah. Particularly the hardcore title. I think that title actually...
Nah, but that one didn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to me, that was meant to be a title that flipped back and forth.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, okay, I'm sorry. I think you meant especially the hardcore in that like ruined things more than most.
No, not at all. No. The hardcore title, I think, was the one. The IC title sometimes I thought could have the stability.
Yeah, that's the one to me that really gets fucked up during this time.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I agree. No, the hardcore title, I think the flipping around was the allure, because I think that gave people it gave superstars and fans the thinking that, hey, anybody could win this title at any time. At this point, though, and maybe it was just the completist in me or the belt junkie in me. But at this point, I thought maybe they should have made like a legit belt for it at this point.
Hogan, we coming for you, nigga.
He could have bought it.
No, I was fine with the hardcore title the way it was.
I never liked WCW's hardcore belt. I think it was ugly, horrendous looking. So there you go. 4 title matches to open, fully loaded, and 4 new champions. Jeff Jarrett, the Acolytes, D'Lo Brown, and now the Big Boss Man is your new World Wrestling Federation Hardcore Champion. And this, of course, is just the beginning of the war between Al Snow and the Big Boss Man. Next match.
Boss Man and his mama too.
Next match.
I used to think the lyrics were in the song.
Which ones? Boss Man's?
Yeah, the Big Boss Man and his mama too. Look out, Bobby Heenan, they're coming for you. That's why I started watching. Was right during that feud,
Yes, that's right.
And his mom was such a big focal point of the storyline.
Exactly. Imagine. Who would have thunk it? Our first match coming up now, JR, that is not a title match. I think gotta be Kane! That's right. He's in it, so who needs a title? Because he's red hot right now. No pun intended. And finally, these two meet after kind of dancing around things for, a few months. Kane and the Big Show finally meeting after all the promos and the interfering in each other's matches and everything. They're finally meeting here, one-on-one.
Well, they met one-on-one at King of the Ring.
Right, but that match could have been longer, could have been better, and could have been later on in the tournament. This one, though, obviously was ramping up what had happened there. But we've had a little weird story twist to this feud, JR. Let us know what.
Well, we mentioned this back in King of the Ring that Hardcore Holly had really been getting just crazy. Really going loony, batty, crazy, nuts, bizarre, calling himself the Big Shot, acting like he was a super heavyweight and getting in the grill of all these big dudes. And it was kind of getting to the point where Big Show was warming up to him a little bit, actually, kind of in a look how cute he is kind of thing. And so Big Show made it a point to try and save him whenever his mouth got him in trouble, like one time when he wrestled the Acolytes and handicap match and got the piss beat out of him. So Holly, kind of in the middle of this feud, ends up being named the special referee for this one here, and he hoped maybe to go a little bit better than the disaster King of the Ring. Big Show kind of still floating aimlessly. I guess he's kind of a face at this point. Still, I guess he's back to being a face, and disastrous. Kane, on the other hand, had been undergoing a lot of pathos as he was still friends with X-Pac, but Undertaker was trying to get in his head and get him to come back home and be teammates with him. And on the Raw before this to go home, they kind of had a battle for Kane's soul between X-Pac and Taker, and X-Pac ended up winning that battle. Kane turned on his brother and chokeslammed him and retained being a team with X-Pac instead of going back to the dark side. So pretty interesting stuff, I thought, with those guys going on. We'll see that carry over to the next pay-per-view here. But for now, Kane is in this match with Big Show as tag partners elsewhere. Holly is the ref.
Yes. This wasn't a bad match.
There was one spot earlier that was cool when Big Show press slammed him over the top to the floor. Pretty cool seeing.
Yes, I do remember that. Yeah. Yep. Unfortunately, the crowd, like you said, is he a face? I mean, the crowd's kind of like up in the air. I mean, his pop wasn't as loud. I mean, Kane was still red hot at this point. So you're not quite sure what the fans are thinking about Big Show and what to do with him. It was kind of, I mean, unfortunately, he had the same problem in WCW. Vince is not the only one that didn't know what the hell to do with him and who to,
I don't know!
Exactly. 1 minute he was in the NWO. They were a tag team at one point, I guess. 1 minute they were in the NWO, and then the next minute they're beating the shit out of him. And then he comes back. And then they beat the shit out of him again. And then he comes back. And so who knew what the hell was going on there? I have a feeling he's more of a heel here, though. I feel like. Because Hardcore Holly was. Hey, you're the one that did this, not me.
Well, he's kind of coming off the Union thing.
That's true, too.
And he was feuding with Taker, kind of. That's where the Kane piece came in. So, I don't know. He was just kind of like a tweener. Shades of Grey. 50 Shades of Grey.
50 Shades. Oh, God. please have nothing devolving these two. The match itself is...
Big Show for a reason.
Oh, God. Go away. Isn't there a Sizzler or something in there? All
Jeremy
you can
Nichols, my ass man.
The match is, not great. Two lumbering guys. I mean, nothing earth-shattering. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great.
Nah.
X-Pac comes out to find out what the scoop is.
Scott, this is one you should take your abacus out for, because I want to count that these guys, to me, are, we see a lot of matchups that are done to death on pay-per-view over and over. I feel like this one may eventually kind of get up there. We've already counted the Kane and Taker, how many times they fought. Over the years, these guys will end up facing or being involved with each other quite a bit. Remember, we did that for Shamrock and Rock as well in 97, 98. So
yes.
Kind of curious where this ranks.
And these bounce around. And again, this also, they're on both sides, who's a heel, who's a face. In this instance, I guess we could say Kane was officially a face.
They both were, I think.
And yeah, they pretty much were both official. Oh, you think that's funny? You think it was funny to have them both faces? The match is not great. It's okay. Typical two big dudes.
Yeah, well, it's all right.
Well. So, there we go. Kane and the Big Show continue their feud in a kind of typical, big man match. So, speaking of the Undertaker, who I think involved himself in this match, it's kind of strange.
He comes out after and attacks Kane. Not really strange. They've been feuding.
Yeah, they had been feuding, and but were they Big Show and Taker together? Maybe that's where
No, because Big Show was feuding with Taker too.
So it was very strange.
Because Taker was trying to get Kane on his side against Big Show.
Mm-hmm.
And then Kane on the last Raw, like I said, turned on Taker, so Taker comes out for revenge on Kane here. But Holly was obviously helping Show more than he was helping Kane here. He ends up clipping Kane and then fast counting him down. So a screwy match all around, where Holly helping Show, who's been helping him, and then Taker gets involved and beats up Kane after.
Yes. So we'll see. We'll see.
That's all right, bud. Get on my back. I'll carry you.
We will see the cultivating.
When you look back and you see that one set of footprints, you'll know that it wasn't just you on your own. You'll know it was me carrying you.
What? Who wrote that down for you? All right.
What, you think I never saw it? I went to fucking... Well, I'm not going to say it all in one sentence. I went to Catholic school for 16 years, so I think I know the footprints thing pretty well.
Yes, that
Grew
is
up
true.
in an Italian family.
Yes, I did. Yes, so did I, of course.
Jeez.
Getting back to The Undertaker,
Because you don't go to, someone doesn't go to 7-hour Knights of Columbus meetings once a week. Doesn't mean you don't know that.
Twice a month, excuse me.
Fuck.
No one ever denied your Catholicism. Is it something going on deep in your soul? Talk to me. What's going on in your soul?
All right, Father Pat, I'm good.
Mother Angelica. Can't believe she's still alive. All right. So speaking of The Undertaker, how did The Undertaker get into Catholicism? What? Walking through the curtain, Stone Cold finally finds him and beats him up and busts Taker open.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Why is that a big deal?
Mm-hmm.
We'll tell you why later. Our next match is a J-Fave favorite, so I'm passing this one on to you.
Does anything get you more jacked up than the intro beat, the Steve Blackman scene? Just fucking, you start beating that beat up and you're just ready to fucking explode, and then when it finally kicks in.
You used to walk into class in school with this on, didn't you?
Oh, I love how it doesn't just start. It really builds the excitement of it. It's like, and then it really hits the beat. It's the Blue Balls of theme songs. It gets you it like the 3 times you think they're gonna get into it. It keeps no. One more time we're gonna hit that drum beat. One more time. Get ready, and then boom, there you are. Steve Blackman explodes out into the arena.
Yes.
Kendo stick and all.
Yes.
Yeah, Blackman back on pay-per-view. Attaboy. He had turned heel, as we saw back at King of the Ring when Vince was instructing him how to retrieve the briefcase. Kind of become one of Vince's little right-hand men, and as part of that, had been attacking Ken Shamrock, busted him open before King of the Ring, caused the internal bleeding that would be back to plague Shamrock, the king of the internal bleeding. He had that issue going on throughout Raw. These two guys would brawl and fight week after week, and it all explodes here in an Iron Circle match, where basically they fought in a parking lot surrounded by cars.
Very interesting.
I liked it.
They were very creative about Shamrock when it came to certain matches, and
except for his injuries. That was always the same.
Yes, exactly. Ah! Goes kind of long, much longer than I thought it would. Jim Johnston always wanted the themes at least 3.5 minutes, even though you'd only hear 90 seconds of it.
It's all right.
Boom, chicka boom, chicka doom, doom, doom. So they wrestle amongst a round of cars. It was fun. You really can't grade it. I mean, it wasn't really a match. So, I thought it would be longer, to be honest with you. It was only 4:19. I was expecting it to be longer and a little more brutal. But what did you think? Did you think that it could have gone a little longer?
I think it's more realistic that it didn't. I mean, they're fighting out in a parking lot with weapons and chains and garbage cans and cars. I mean, it shouldn't go 15 minutes, I think 4 is okay. It's kind of more believable that it would end quick with that setting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised Shamrock won clean, considering they'd fight again the next month.
All right.
I thought maybe Blackman would have picked up the win, but I liked it. I thought it was fitting for these guys. It was a believable setting that these two would be involved in, so I was cool with it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I was chill.
Yeah. And obviously this will not be the last time they face each other, as you mentioned. Did you like Shamrock's reface?
No.
No.
No, I didn't like that. I liked how he was being booked as the heel. I mean, I get why they did it, but I felt like that heel run was so short. I feel like, he's already right back to being a face. I don't know.
Right. Well, and Blackman...
Maybe because I know where it's heading, so maybe it's skewed by that. I don't really remember at the time what I thought, honestly, on this one.
Yeah, I liked Blackman in this. I did like him in the silent assassin role, which I think finally was really the most effective way to use him. So in reality, I kind of think this was the better setup. I mean, I don't think Blackman should have been the face here. So I kind of like Kenny in this babyface role.
Yeah, this feud definitely. I'm talking more of an overall.
Oh, okay.
Look at it, but I think it's okay in this feud for him to be the face and for Blackman to be the heel. I liked Blackman as a silent assassin heel. He's good in both roles. I don't know. I'm a unapologized Blackman supporter.
It's okay. I like him too.
I know he gets bashed for like lack of personality or whatever, but I thought he always worked solid in the ring. I thought he was always intense and into the angle, and I thought he was believable enough. And to me, he's just one of those guys you need a good hand, as JR would always say. I thought he was someone that really was just good to have around and could put on a solid match, get into a little feud like this, and be believable in it. And I always liked that about him.
Mm-hmm. I did too.
And he had bitchin' theme music.
Well, that too. Do you feel that that Shamrock was getting stale?
Yes, I do.
Did you think his days were numbered?
No, because I liked him so much, I probably didn't want to believe it.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought they could have gotten more mileage out of him than they do. But I think he needed a break.
Gonna miss that, Maybe Vince will dance to it. Who knows?
I think they needed a break. He could have done like a not major injury angle, but a serious one and been out until like through the end of the year or something. Come back fresh to start the new year. Something like that.
I agree.
Maybe it would have spiced him up a little bit.
Yeah, but this is a good match. I kind of dug I did dig the gimmick and the whole cars and everything. I just was hoping for it to be a little longer. And there is some, obviously, it's also surrounded by a lot of young wrestlers and no-name faces. There were two guys, though, in particular, that would make their mark later on in the year. You keep mentioning one, Prince Albert, we will get into more particularly when he debuts. And then another guy who makes his pay-per-view debut about 4 months from now also is an anonymous, nameless face in this circle of wrestlers, and we'll tell you who that is.
I love a little maraca shaking in the background too.
I like the do. To kind of fake you out the do.
I want to hire Blackman to put on a martial arts display at St. Mary's Day this year. Dance around with his glow sticks and breaking shit, popping tags.
Do. The fake out there. You think that's when the song's going to kick in, and then it just goes away. And then
it's so good.
Incredible. Fit the guy perfectly. Well, you know what, JR? I'm going to give you a chance to hum the song in your head, because we're going to take a break. He is really humming in his head, folks. We're going to take a breather.
There's like Fandangoing. I'm going to be Blackmaning.
Blackmaning?
Blackmaning.
Well, you got to say it the way that Matt Rosello would say it. Blackmaning.
Blackmaning.
I kind of like the way Matt Rotello would say it. Blackman.
Lethal weaponing. I'll be lethal weaponing.
Lethal weaponing. All right, we're going to take a break. We've buzzed through 6 matches, 4 title matches, 4 title changes. What a show. And we got 3 matches left, but we'll take a breather because these 3 are all very involved, big backstory. And, of course, we have the World Wrestling Federation Championship on the line at the end. We're wondering all this Taker, Stone Cold, walking around stuff. What is all this about? We're going to get into that as well. However, we were first hear from our sponsors.
I gotta go take a pimp drop.
My review is posted and the thread's been locked, and I know the password, so you're gonna need admin rights for that.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
What I'd like to have right now.
Chad, do you ever feel that the world revolves around WWF?
I think you mean WWE there, Parv.
Yeah, whatever, but what about David Crockett?
Well, what about Jimmy Valiant?
I'm gonna get y'all until I get you, Paul Jones. Oh.
The Four Horsemen.
We are a family, and we are the best.
The Omni, the Dangerous Alliance.
Please welcome the newest members of the Dangerous Alliance, Arn Anderson and Larry Zbyszko.
Jim Cornette and the Midnight Express.
The Fantastics are putting the U.S. Tag Team title on the line against the Midnight Express.
Main events with actual work rate in them.
Woo! 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 All right!
It's just not fair to Flair.
It's not fair for Flair.
If this is what you're looking for, please check out Where the Big Boys Play podcast, the only pure NWA and WCW supercard podcast out there.
While you were in Hollywood making movies, Thunder Lips, I was winning world titles.
So a guy from across the pond and a dude from the south, Where the Big Boys Play. It's a great podcast. Harv and Chad are awesome. Check them out. Also check out WrestleChat.net, indeed where it's at. Great message board, plenty of topics to browse, the Still Real to Us podcast, and much, much more. Also, our message board, which is awesome, bigelow34.proboards.com. It's where PTB really began. Written reviews and a boatload of them. And PTB Nation, we have you to thank for that. Plus the Territory Wars, a whole lot more. If you want a one-touch spot for our show, you can head there. Also head to Stitcher.com and the Stitcher app for all phones and tablets, and more details on that. Also, our good friend Graham Cawthon, the history of WWE.com, the best research site you will ever find. Also, another sponsor to the show, the Wrestling Forum, TWFnews.com. They're a wrestling forum, a blog site, much, much more. The guys at TWF creating a wrestling media nation, many blogs, podcasts, and vodcasts. Yours can be included. They're the official forum of WrestleChat.net and the place to be. We've joined up as well. So check them out, find out what they're about at TWFnews.com. Also, you can check out our show at GetThePointRadio.com. My good friend Mike. It's a great online radio station. If you're on the mood for wrestling, but you want to listen to music, pop it on. He plays music all day long. You can also check his archive on iTunes, and all of our shows are there as well. Big site.
What's up, everybody? This is Kevin Kelly, longtime announcer with the WWE, now the voice of Ring of Honor Wrestling. No better place to be than right here on the Place to Be podcast. Make sure you tune in every week.
All right, Nation, we be back here on the Place to Be podcast in the throes of fully loaded 1999. Got 3 matches left, 3 big matches left. Interesting match structure here. We had a bunch of title matches, then a couple other ones to kind of bridge the gap into the big 3 to finish out the show. So
I do like that. I do like that that red herring of a beat in the middle.
Then I think it's the most analysis Steve Blackman's theme song has ever received.
Yes. Come on, Ashley Cruz. What's your analysis of this?
Who cares?
Who cares? All right.
Now, once upon a time, not too long ago, a PSC like myself had to ask how much trivia you know.
Trivia. Got some big news about that, JR. We'll talk about later on in the week. Big news. Okay. We go from title matches to rights. Copyrights. What? A match for copyrights? What is this, Grease? Because finally, JR, D-Generation X is dead.
I ain't asking any questions with this dumbass again. Who won at WrestleMania 6? You're wrong again.
Oh, it depends on the match. Match. Okay, so as we've documented over the last 3 vaults, D-Generation X is just splitting apart at the seams, and now the battle is for the rights to DX. Who can continue on? On the one hand, you got the DOGG.
On the other hand, you got Scott's Broken Heart.
That's right. This was tough. But, I mean, obviously, I was very excited, of course, of the Triple H heel turn, so I could sacrifice one of the greatest factions in the history of the universe ending for the sake of, all these guys kind of moving on to separate things. So the D-O-double-G and the X to the P to the A to the C, as he would say. 2 tiers in a bucket, bucket, bucket.
Oh, God.
Jesse James and X-Pac.
X-Pac.
X-Pac. X-Pac. Wow.
Don't.
Burp, burp. Does he realize that he had to take Mike Tyson's theme?
By the way, I was thinking that I know we've done tournaments and everything else, but I think we need to do a theme list of Mania. I think that's our next list of Mania.
Oh, I don't think there's any question we need to do a theme list of Mania.
Okay.
I totally agree with you.
Let's get on that.
It might be pretty interesting. Well, we'll say, we have a lot of time in the summer, and we never do.
We'll be saying this next February. We'll be getting ready to do it.
yes, pretty much. On the other side of the coin, you have Triple H's crew, and that, of course, is China, and Was that an echo? man.
Yeah, I'm a nice man.
I love to kick 'em. I love to.
I think we've had enough singing of that song.
Yes.
Scott, your Bruins of Boston have defeated the Maple Leafs of bitch-ass Toronto 5-2.
Excellent. That's a big win tonight after not looking that stellar in Saturday night's Game 2 loss. Looking big at the Air Canada Center. Just like those SummerSlam 04 Poirot. And the Bruins lead the series 2-1. A lot of games tonight. How are the Rangers doing? Oh, Gaz!
Rangers were up, I think it was 2-1 last I saw.
That's a big win. They need to win that game. They can't.
3-3 with 11 minutes left.
Okay.
And Anaheim leads Detroit 1-0 at the end of 2. And in your National Basketball Association, the Bulls lead the Heat 90-86 with 45 seconds left. That means TV2 is going over there.
Wow. Maybe the Bulls should have no Derrick Rose and everybody have the flu all at the same time more often.
Scott, maybe for a trivia prize, we'll give away a night in the man cave. You can watch our live recording of the PTB podcast, and you can enjoy the two. I already promised Dan McGinn he could come hang out one night.
The 2 TVs. Precisely. All right.
By the way, stop making your plans now, Nation. I already got McGinn. I got Poirier in the books. I got the Flanagan man. Little ROH in Providence, end of July. Let's do it. If you're in the area, come on down. Cephalaroo.
And on the other side of the coin, to the Greenhouses and the D'Amatos, early preliminary discussions of Ring of Honor August 17th at Hammerstein. So talk about that over the as time progresses.
Hopefully that crowd's better than the one that was been part of this taping from ROH. I like Kevin's take on that. I thought we were pretty good at Supercard of Honor, but
yes, we were.
That taping, my lord, those 4 shows, that Ring of Honor crowd was not good.
Oh, really? What, the ones the next day? Oh.
Yeah, it's very flat.
Really? That sucks. By the way, I was checking on the website today, ROHWrestling.com. The Death Before Dishonor is on DVD now. So,
okay.
The April 5th show, of course, where Jay Briscoe won the Ring of Honor World title.
You mean Supercard of Honor?
Supercard of Honor. I'm sorry. Supercard of Honor. Yes, it is now on DVD. I saw it on ROHWrestling.com today. Okay, getting back to this, and DX, fighting for the rights. Fight for your right. Mike D, MCA. Jesse James, the Road Dogg, and X-Pac.
That was a year, we just passed the anniversary, didn't we, the other day?
Of what? Of,
It's passing.
Yes. Oh,
MCA.
King, MCA, yeah. Very sad. Your favorite Beastie Boys song, JR?
Sure Shot or Hey Ladies?
Mine's it's a 3-way tie between No Sleep Till Brooklyn, Paul Revere, and Sabotage.
Yeah, they're all good.
Yeah, it's never any bad. Paul's Boutique is not the greatest album on the planet, but it's listenable. I do like Hey Ladies too. Road Dogg, X-Pac versus China and Billy Gunn. The rights to DX, who can continue on in the black and green. I gotta be honest with you, JR. The match is really good. The concept was dumb.
I kind of disagree. I thought it was a good filler because Billy needed something to do here heading into SummerSlam, and China needed something to do. And I kind of liked. I mean, it made sense when you thought about it. On the 628 Raw, Billy Gunn was in the midst of his King of the Ring victory speech. He was interrupted by Triple H and China. Triple H asked him if he'd ever received a royalty check lately in regards to the DX merchandise. It was still a red-hot commodity, thanks to Scott scooping it all up. Triple H told Billy that since they were co-creators of the group, they deserved a piece of that pie. Hunter informed him that he was too busy in his feud with The Rock and trying to win the World Championship, but he offered out China's services, something that will continue to this day. If Billy wanted,
by the way, finish your story. Finish the. And then I got something funny to tell you, but finish the build.
Billy wanted to step up and take back what was theirs. Billy agreed, and the DX theme queued up for the disgruntled former DXers, and they would all kind of interfere and fight with each other over the next few weeks leading into the show. So I don't know. I was okay with this, and also big news on the final Raw before the show. Mm-hmm. Billy Gunn actually picked up a win over The Rock.
Wow!
So we'll see if that comes into play, but. Billy Gunn, a little bit of a role going on here. The Brad Pitt with an attitude, as Jim Ross would call him, trying to force that down our throat for some reason. Anyway.
What's funny, this morning on...
Not tonight, not any night.
Not any night. This morning on, what radio station was it? 102.3 WBAB out on Long Island. They had a poll going, and they were having callers call in. They had the 10 female athletes who could kick the shit out of any guy. And this is all sports. And some people were saying Serena Williams and some other people. But number one on their list was China. And I said to myself, when was this list made?
Yeah, right? 2000?
Yeah, because I don't think China's exactly as tough as anything right now. She's something else, but I thought that was funny. Really? Number one? Ronda Rousey not on the list.
I don't know if anyone out there watches Merlin like me. I think me and my wife might be the only two in the world.
I always see the promos because the trailer's always on right after SmackDown.
Well, you should try and catch last week's. I think they usually replay it before SmackDown, just to see it. He dresses up like an old woman to like trick them to do wizardry or whatever. And God, he looks and sounds just like China. It's really funny.
Hi.
It is. I'm telling you, look on your TiVo, whatever the hell you're still running over there from 1998.
It's a regular DVR. Your 8-track TV player.
See what TiVo suggested for you. No, go to the 7 o'clock, and I believe because usually when I start SmackDown, they usually have like the previous week's Merlin on.
Okay.
And just watch, just record it just to watch. I think he kicks in like maybe halfway through or 3/4 of the way through to this woman character, and I just started laughing. I'm like, God, huh?
I thought it was ending.
It's 4 more to go.
Oh, okay. And then the series is ending.
Yeah, the series is done.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely gonna watch it on Netflix. I remember.
Yeah, it's all right. It's good.
When I visited you guys a few times, I've watched it, and it's been a pretty good show. I like shows like that.
It's good.
But yeah, so this morning show had her as the number one toughest chick right now, and I'm like, well, you guys are just so dated.
No, I mean, it's not gonna be fucking Brie Bella. I mean.
But even like MMA girls, like Cyborg.
Yeah, Ronda Rousey. The Heat lost. The Bulls have won. Up 1-0.
Wow. What do you think of that?
I think we'll see what happens.
Yeah, stunning. Our Pacers with a win yesterday. You and I, big on the Pacers when we did our preview. Hibbert and the boys.
Were we? I can't remember that far back.
Yes, we did. We did. And I'm not sure about Memphis.
I really think this is setting up. I think,
I'm not a big. I love the Thunder, but when Westbrook's knee went, they were toast.
I really think this is setting up nicely for Memphis, but God, they really blew a game they should have had.
So they should have won the other day. Exactly. Anybody but San Antonio. Anybody else but San Antonio. Okay. Obviously, this match is riveting. The match was fine. I gave it. 3 stars on our written review. Bigelow34.proboards. Wow, it's the first time I've forgotten after the break. Bigelow34.proboards.com. I don't know the whole. I don't know. It was weird, but no. I mean, look, I understand that they need something to do. They're pumping up Billy for his big moment at SummerSlam coming up next month. But I don't know the whole rights to. Hey, nothing wrong with the theme. I don't know. It was weird, but it gave him something to do, and the match was good, so that's fine.
Yeah. I thought it was all right to kill a month, and you have China get back in the ring, and like you said last month, remember they're really trying to test the waters with her as a competitor with men. Mm-hmm. So I was cool with this one. I was okay with it. I thought it was a good feud to eat us some time, and like I said, I thought it really did make some sense to do this and kind of put the DX thing to bed once and for all. And now you're saying why these two are continuing on.
Yes,
and using the stuff. And I liked how they both use the theme in the videos here. And I don't know, it was fine. It was a good off-month time filler story killer.
What? How many DX shirts all told as of 2013 have you ever bought?
1.
Really?
Yeah, we're not all fucking marks like you.
Oh, Max. I've only bought 5 in my life.
Only 5. 1 for every decade you've been alive.
Judy Grable looked hot when she had the
Judy Martin just walks in your room with only your DX shirt on. That's fucking golden right there.
Well, we're doing trivia questions about the Portland territory.
Yeah, hey Scott, you want to join Troop 69?
God, put down the Chesterfields, will you? Jesus. You're going to be like those commercials during the Yankee games where the people... Never mind, I'm not going to make fun of that. You know, she does have a pair of panties with the kid. Never mind. It's more like a girdle.
Does she have Mrs. Ass written on the fucking back of her granny panties?
Back of her girdle. Oh, Jesus God. All right. So guess what? The good guys won.
All right.
Road Dogg and X-Pac win the match. A little under 12 minutes, 11:42, and that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
So they continue on, even though DX is not existing. So, okay. Actually, technically, let's be honest, JR. Technically, I bought 4 during the main run.
Oh God.
When
I'd rather hear you search Graham's website for DVD listings and go through how many shirts you've purchased. But go ahead.
Wait a minute. Oh, let's see what's going on. Oh, I'd love to kick him. I'd love to. All right. Our next match, big time right here. Big time. He didn't have any shirts yet. Not for a while. Bummer.
They're all on your bedroom floor.
Judy, put down the one with the red wax. I don't let anybody wear that. By the way, she chews tobacco. Okay, she doesn't smoke anymore. Triple H, of course, you know, he set this whole thing up with Billy Gunn in China because he had more important things to worry about, and that is becoming the World Wrestling Federation champion. Ruthless. It's all he wanted. It's his one goal.
Yeah, it really became obsessive to him at this point. He was just completely focused, and anything, no matter what anyone did, whether it was the corporate ministry or anything, he always asked, how is this helping me get the world title?
Yep.
So, on 7/19, Mr. McMahon came down to ringside along with Undertaker and Triple H for an interview. Vince proclaimed that his career was on the line at the pay-per-view, but so was Taker's, because if he blew his match and cost Vince, he'd make sure he paid. Taker took umbrage to the assertion, claiming Vince made the stip, not him, so he's not going to worry about Vince's future, only his own. Triple H told Vince he couldn't trust The Undertaker, but he could trust him. So he should swap out the main event at Fully Loaded. After considering what Hunter said, Vince made the announcement that night on Raw that Triple H would face The Undertaker, and the winner would get a world title shot, and the loser would face The Rock. Undertaker won the match by DQ, so Triple H had another reason to bitch about being held down, and still had his grudge match set here with The Rock. I thought it was a good little mini angle unfolded over those 2 hours. And I like that Triple H was really starting to just get so obsessive and assertive that he would stab anyone or anything in the back to get what he wanted. A couple weeks before the show, Jim Ross sat down with Triple H for an interview. And in an historic interview, Triple H said he's been frustrated his whole career and not getting the shots he deserved. He harkened back to the curtain call in 1996 and bitched about being the only one punished. He starts to swear that he ate a hole in his fucking stomach and that he's been held down that long. When the interview is over, he coined the phrase that is now his trademark, I am the game.
We can finally say it, JR. Well, I can. You probably could care less, but that's fine. Because he is the game.
He is.
And here gets his number one contenders match with the now ridiculously over Rock. Here's a feud that, my God, we're talking over 2 years now. On and off, but still. As much as people want to talk about Rock and Austin, these two almost might be even more linked.
Yeah, I think so. Rock kind of has these dual lines going.
Obviously,
I got Triple H chilling, hanging in my den, just trying to play the game like I've always been.
Precisely. Josh Richer. And this is a strap match. And it has become the number one contender for the for the World Wrestling Federation title.
Strap. I'm sorry, strap.
I don't know if this was specifically meant to be like this: the winner gets the title shot at SummerSlam, or if it's just you're just number one contender. I don't think that was specifically given here, that the winner actually gets the shot at SummerSlam. I might be though. I don't know if we need to look at that or not. I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure it's this number one contender. I don't think
it specifically meant the title match at SummerSlam, but
time to play the game.
Exactly. Just everything about this match is wonderful. Judy, sit down. Take that off. Ooh, never mind. And so the match is outstanding. These guys have great chemistry. This was a great feud because, again, regardless of what side of the fence they were on or how their personality was, they always seemed to fit together in their matches. Very violent, a lot of strikes. What?
A
lot of openings. They worked well together.
Yeah.
A lot of strikes.
No, I agree.
Very violent. Mm-hmm. There was no love. There was no cuteness. There was nothing. No. There was nothing needed extra. It was bona fide, straight up, just hating each other and both wanting the same thing. It was all about greed.
Yeah, and Triple H was really wrestling very aggressively here, which I thought was great, and I thought really put over the whole storyline of how he wanted nothing more than to be world champion and finally get what's been denied from him for so long.
Yep.
Something he felt he should have had a long time ago, but been held down by the man. And now that he has crowned himself the game, is ready to go ahead and take that title. So 1 year after the best of 3 match, they stepped in here, like you said, in a strap match. And I like it. We haven't had a real dominant heel champion in a while. First time since, Brett in 97, really, we're looking to have one. So I thought it was good. I mean, a lot of people at the time felt this push was getting shoved down their throat and not everyone wanted it. What did you think at that time? I know you were a fan of his, but did you feel like it was something that was being shoved down the fans, or did you think it felt organic?
I thought it was organic. Remember, we had mentioned a few months ago that maybe it was jump-started a little earlier because of maybe Taker's injuries or something like that. But
do you think they rushed it, though, once they started it? Like, do you think he needed to get to the point of winning already when he does? Like, do you think maybe it could have went till the end of the year and maybe into 2000 he finally wins?
Maybe. I mean, I had said that he was definitely going to be champion by 2000. I think he won the title a little earlier? I think I mentioned a few months ago that he did. But in terms of the pace of his heel turn and his move up the ladder, I thought it was fine. I think it was people were obviously Vince and both Vince and Undertaker were starting to realize that I need to take some time off. I mean, I'm in agony. So I don't think there's any question that he was definitely needed on the heel side. He needed to be vicious. I don't think there was no more. The one thing you got to give Triple H credit for here is that there was no more in between. I'm not fucking around anymore. No jokes. Not heel DX97. We're going to be goofy and mean. No. I want one thing. I want to be champion and get the fuck out of my way. I'm not giggling anymore. I'm all about me now. And I think that's what was needed from him. Mm-hmm. And that was necessary to really put him over and make him legitimate. So I don't have a problem with it at all. I thought it was very organic. When he was supposed to win the title, as we'll talk more about it as we move along. I think that all depended on roster health. And we've documented pretty much since November, that Taker was hurting pretty bad.
Yeah.
And needed time.
I mean, really, since Hell in a Cell in June, we've been saying it.
Yeah. I mean, ever since he landed wrong on his foot and broke his ankle, and he gimps. I mean, literally. I mean, JR, pretty much since he wasn't at the Massacre. So pretty much since 15, since WrestleMania, every match he's been in, when he moves around the ring, he's limping. He's moving with a gait, with kind of a gimp, because he's in pain. He's in agony. It is time for him to take a vacation, time for him to take some time off, get surgery, get rested, get healed, and come back. So, no, I don't think the Triple H turn was pushed or rushed or shoved. As much as people want to say that, I disagree 100%. And I think whether he was supposed to win the title later, or maybe whether those plans were pushed up, I don't know. But I definitely think the turn was organic, and it was definitely needed, because there was going to be a big gaping hole on the heel side of the roster. So, and you actually have two holes, because technically Taker's on vacation, or Taker's going to be walking away, and we'll let you know when we get there. And now you have Rock as a full-blown face and way over with the crowd, that you technically now have two holes on the heel side, and only one guy that has covered it, and that's Triple H. So, I mean, obviously you've got mid-card guys, but in terms of, full-blown main event heels, there's kind of a dearth of them right now, with injuries and what have you. So, yeah. So, no, I don't think the heel turn was forced. I don't think Triple H's character was forced. It was needed, and I thought it was very organic. Again, in terms of winning the title, we'll talk about it as we move along. I don't know if that timeline was original or not.
Well, I mean, one guy they could have had fill this gap that they've pooched the fucking punt on, and that's my new term I'm going to use, pooch the punt, is Big Show.
Well, yeah, easily.
I mean, come on. Imagine if you had him just destroying guys left and right since he debuted, and you would have had a big-time heel right now.
Let me ask you, do you think... I can't see this... I can't see it being Taker. Look, Taker's a pro. We all know that. He's the elder statesman of the roster and everything. This had to have been the Booker's idea. I bet you he wanted to take time off earlier, but they felt they needed him with the corporate ministry. I mean, here's a guy who's not been healthy for months and was involved in a pretty pretty high profile storyline that you couldn't really get him out of. I think maybe that's why they did the merging with Shane and the corporate ministry and everything, to kind of give him some extra legs to carry the things for a while, because clearly he was hurting. So
it's a weird time.
Yeah, it was a weird time. Great match. 19:20. So 40 seconds shy of 20 minutes. But very good match. Strap was used heavily. Billy Gunn, who we've talked about, has been helping Triple H out, comes out to interfere, and Triple H hits the pedigree. And in 19 minutes and 20 seconds, he is your number one contender for the World Wrestling Federation Championship. Very happy about that. But obviously, we know where Billy Gunn is going. And now this begins. Do you feel this almost begins what was going to happen the following year at Mania? Do you think this was turning into like almost a year-long build for Rock?
No, I think they still had other plans.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah,
do you think it's weird that the deep pushing Rock, or do you think he needed to take a little break here?
No, I think he just needed to establish. He needed to look to really be an effective babyface and really be put over. You need to chase. That's what did it for Stone Cold in '97 into '98, and in this feud '98 into '99.
Yeah, but when he was chasing, he was still kind of up in the main event scene. I'm sorry, Rock seems to be kind of being pushed aside now, a little bit.
Well, unfortunately, they don't have. They have another plan in mind, main event wise, and I don't know if I don't think he would have fit into it well, unless you stuck him in. Well, we'll get to that later. Okay. We'll get to that next week.
All right, yeah, we can leave it there.
Yeah, we'll leave it there, because I think once we get into the next vault, I think I can open up that. That's a great question, but it's kind of hard to answer now when we haven't hit a certain point in the storyline timeline. But we can expound on that question at SummerSlam, because I think we could talk about where Rock could fit and where he could slide in.
If anything, we freshened up the top of the heel card with Triple H now being your number one contender.
Yeah, I agree. And obviously Taker clearly really needs to take time off. I mean, he's gone balls out for over 5 years now since taking the time off in 94.
And you've gone balls deep, so we're good.
Judy! So Triple H is number one contender. For what? For the world title. Now, speaking of the world title, we have finally reached our main event, and we can finally talk about what the hell Austin and Undertaker have been doing all night. This match for the World Wrestling Federation Championship
PTB Nation, it is now time for the Rob Houston Memorial Hacksaw Jim Duggan Update.
I got my 2x4. Something that could have made his ass a real man.
Spencer Kenny McMahon Jr. here with your Hacksaw Jim Dunstan update for WCW Rob Houston. I just wrote up in my hoopty, Matt Rotella, my personal manslave. Anthony Armento is my tour guide and my bitch secretary. I got Mark Claire, my pimp riding shotgun, and we're cruising up here into Graham Cawthon's house, and we're gonna read the Jim Duggan results off the wall. We have June 2nd, July 2nd, the 8th month of the year. Jim Duggan defeated Silver King. All right, on July 3rd, Monroe. I feel like every show I read is in Monroe, Louisiana. What is this? Jim Duggan defeated Brian Adams. Quite the well-accomplished artist, isn't he, pal?
Great albums. Heaven, straight from the heart.
And baby, you're all that I want. When you're lying here in my arms, I'm finding it hard to believe we're in heaven. DJ Sammy's one of my favorite artists, Chris Colo. Anyway, where were we? August 7th, Jim Dunstan defeated he lost to Ernest Miller in Columbus, Georgia. July 7th, he defeated Brian Adams again. It was just like the summer of '69 in Madison, Wisconsin at the Dane County Expo Center. Jim Dunstan defeated Barry Darsow. In Peoria, Illinois, he defeated Fit Finley. That seemed like kind of an upset to me, Chris Colo. And July 30th, Kurt Hennig defeated Jim Duggan. And Grand Rapids, July 31st, Jordan Duncan was in attendance to see Kurt Hennig defeat him again. There's your Jim Duggan update. Chris Colo, what you up to? You still hanging and banging?
I had a great workout today, Vince, and I'm following your example. I'm going to be hanging and banging. I'm going to be the man. I'm going to look like you.
Maybe there's room for you and my posse, the McMahon posse.
Can Judy Martin join?
No, we have no room for bitches. It's a sausage fest up in this hoopty. We cruise the clubs looking for tail. We don't need no women crimping our style, Chris Colo. That's not how you do things. Haven't you learned anything from me? I'm stuck in this sexless marriage. Christ. Take a lesson from me. Stay single. Like my boy Anthony Armento, pulling in tail left and right. Hitting up fucking homeless convalescent center after homeless convalescent center. Banging Asian waitresses. That's how you get it done, kid.
I was looking for Donna Christianella for you. She was
pulling ass left and right while everyone was DTF. Armento cruising the Jersey Shore with Snooki and fucking Dina. That's how he gets it done.
That's right.
My boy Mark Claire. We're gonna go eat that pussy. We're out of here, Chris Gullo. Suck it. Rotella, pull it out front. We're out of here. Gas it up. And do me a favor, leave your seatbelt unbuckled in case we get in an accident. Do the world a favor.
Maybe someday. Maybe it'll be in the trivia questions. Maybe we'll put it under the hard. Who lost to Barry Darsow in Monroe, Louisiana? The answer? Jim Dunstan.
Jim Dunstan.
He was hyped up tonight. Wow, he's getting his lowrider's looking good.
I like it. I like the crew.
Lowrider limo
posse. It's kind of like Jimmy King's posse.
Exactly. It's good to see Claire riding shotgun.
Yeah,
nice to see him.
A big part of the show.
Yeah. All right. Stone Cold Steve Austin. Let's go back a bit. Now, Austin knew when he was the CEO that in all likelihood he was going to lose at King of the Ring to the McMahons because, of course, of some silly shenanigans and tomfoolery. So he had a fail-safe plan. The next night on Raw, after King of the Ring, he said, "I am no longer the CEO of this company. However, knowing that I was going to lose it to some McMahon tomfoolery, I did myself one more duty as CEO before losing it, and that is I gave myself a WWF Championship match tonight on Raw against The Undertaker." Of course, Taker the night before defeated The Rock with the help of Triple H to retain the WWF title. So that night on Raw, which would end up being one of the most watched final show segments ever, not as good as the one in May, but it did reach, I think the final overflow that night got into the high 7s. Steve Austin would be a 4-time World Wrestling Federation champion as he defeated The Undertaker that night, the night after King of the Ring on Raw. Of course, McMahon was pissed. So this match would be billed as you heard in our open, the end of an era. Why is that, JR?
Because one man's era would end. No, they would. They made a stipulation, as we mentioned earlier, where Vince said that if Austin beat Undertaker, Vince would leave the WWF. He would have nothing directly or indirectly to do with Austin from now on. He'd be gone. And if Austin lost, this would be his final World Championship shot. He would never challenge again for the title. So, very interesting stipulations here. I think a lot of people thought Taker was winning the title back. Honestly. I don't think anyone expected Vince to leave, and not, at the time, I guess you just look at it now and say, well, they just will lie to the stipulation. But at the time, it seemed like not as something that would legit happen. And if it did, you could almost maybe believe he would leave for a while and just go back behind the scenes, and maybe this run was over and they were ready to move on, and that was it for the character. On a 7/19, Austin drove a bloodmobile to the ring to set up the fact that this was going to now be a first blood match. As you mentioned, Austin had been busted open, and for weeks they kept trying to open up that cut. They were now over the barricade, making their way towards the bloodmobile, and sure enough, Austin came back out, got Taker by the hair, and the front windshield got all smashed up, and they're brawling around. Austin shrugs off the Undertaker, throws him in the back of the bloodmobile, makes his way back to McMahon, who had been left alone at ringside in his wheelchair because he had actually suffered severe, was it like a tailbone injury from a motorcycle accident? That was the story anyway.
Yes.
I also read that. So was it that, or was it that he was hurt at King of the Ring? I know the story on TV was that he got hurt.
It was some type of
Well, I think it was a motorcycle
vehicle accident.
I don't know if it was like one of the Roddy Piper WrestleMania 7 ones where it was fake, but so anyway, he grabs the smoking skull belt, bashes McMahon. Vince is bleeding. Austin signs a contract, clotheslines Vince's chair to the floor. Austin drinks a Pabst PBR in the ring. Paul Bearer opens up the bloodmobile, lets Taker out. Taker makes his way back to the ring, lets loose with the right hand, loaded with the beer can, and that's starts ripping at Austin's head with the can to make him bleed. So that really set things up. And then on heat, Taker jumped him again and reopened that cut to set things up. And then, as we said later in the show, that's Austin jumped Taker in the back and cut him open. One last piece we can mention is they had a contract signing earlier in the month, and they had a fountain pen. Austin got busted open, and they filled the pen with his blood and signed it. Taker signed it in Austin's blood, which was unique, to say the least.
Yes, they were stabbing him in the, they were stabbing the pen in his forehead.
So some pretty unique ways to bleed leading up to this match. Not your standard fare for a WWF First Blood setup.
Right. Yes, it was very strange. I have to say, though, that I did like the build. I liked the whole, clawing at the cut. And at one point, the beer he's drinking, he's ripping his face with it. And, Austin's a bleeder. We've established that. I actually, for a guy who was still fairly gimpy, this was a great match. I really enjoyed this match. I think Taker realized that this was probably his last pay-per-view match for a while. At least solo. Okay. Solo pay-per-view match for a while. So he went all out and just went balls to the wall. And puts on an unbelievable match. And he and Austin, as we've seen through history, have had pretty good chemistry together. They would feud again, a few times throughout the next couple of years. But they always had pretty good chemistry together. So I knew this was going to be a great match, even with a gimpy Undertaker.
Yeah.
And it was. What did you think?
Yeah, I thought it was good. I mean, this is one when I remember I rewatched it. Is it on Taker's DVD or Austin's? I know it's on one of them. I think it's on Taker's. And I rewatched it a couple years ago, and I was like, wow, this is really a lot better and a lot more exciting than I remembered. I think at this point, these guys really knew how to just work a match. It didn't really matter where they were at physically, what was going on. The crowd was molten hot, and the night after King of the Ring, that match was fucking great too. The crowd was red hot for that when Austin won the title back. Do you think it's weird they didn't have Austin win the title here? Do you think it would have meant more if they had the title on the line versus Vince's career versus Austin's title shots?
Yes. Yeah, I think so. I don't know if they just wanted the reign to be longer based on what would have happened the next month, or maybe because there was still the occasional, WCW was not dead, but they were, sucking pretty bad. And maybe they just wanted to keep digging more nails in the coffin by just jacking the Raw rating so high as they possibly could to really bury WCW, and they knew a title change and a big title match on Raw would help that. Knowing you were going to probably buy the pay-per-view anyway.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's fine. I was okay with it.
But they could have done it. It would have been fine.
Yeah, either way worked. Maybe it wasn't as obvious doing it on Raw, I guess. If they had done it on, if you just had him being the champion going to the pay-per-view, you probably kind of knew where it was headed.
Right.
So I'm okay with that. But, yeah, I liked this match. I did. I thought it was a good brawl. I thought it was a lot of energy for guys that were hurt. And this is one we can ask Kevin about, too. Well, it'll probably be a while before we get to this one. It's considered second half. But, these guys, remember, we talked about with Kevin for the Buried Alive match at Rock Bottom, how much they hated the match and how angry they were. And it's good to see them kind of go out here. And then they get screwed over the edge. As far as being able to go out there and deliver a good match. So you could kind of tell me they wanted to get back out there and put one on like they knew they could, and they really go all out here. And I liked the first blood stip. I thought this is one of the best first blood matches to date. I know there haven't been many in WWF, but because I just liked the unique ways they did it, and the blood really played a big role in the feud and the match. It wasn't just something where they said they were going to do first blood, didn't really prep much for it, and did like a tiny, there was a lot of blood flowing in this feud. And these two guys really, just went all out. Yeah, I liked it. I like this match. I like this whole show. I mean, I think you can argue, outside of maybe Valentine's Day Massacre, was this the best built show of '99 so far?
You could definitely say that. I mean, every match had something
Mania,
behind it.
right?
Yeah, every match had something behind it. There was no throwaways, like the last couple of pay-per-views had throwaways.
Yeah.
This didn't.
I think next to Massacre, this is probably the best show of the year so far.
Yeah, I mean, everything had a reason. That's what I'm saying. I think this show is forgotten in a lot of the annals of fans' minds. I don't think many people remember this show. And now they realize, wow, this show is... Now, I don't know where you can get... I mean, obviously, it's only on VHS. You probably have to find it on eBay or Amazon. But, there's not that many... I know the strap match is on something. I think the strap match is on Rock's first DVD.
Why don't you go to the shelf?
What's that?
Go to the shelf and start
looking. No, it's all the way across the room.
Go through each one.
Nope, individually.
Go to every DVD you have.
Read the etchings on the disc.
Read everything.
I'm pretty sure it's on the. Pretty sure it's on the second Rock DVD or first Rock DVD.
Read them all.
Read them all. On Ultimate Insiders, Hardy Boys. There's never mind.
Rock Triple H is on the Greatest Wrestling Stars of the '90s, and Taker Steve Austin is on Tombstone.
Oh, okay. Which I have on, which I'm actually playing right now in the Event Center. Although I'm on disc 1, that's probably on disc 2. But yeah, this is a very good match, much better than anybody remembers it being. And of course, the match ends. Taker's seen with blood. The match is over. Austin retains his World Wrestling Federation Championship, and yes, Vince gets serenaded with the na 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 right out of the ring. And he is still limping, right? He's got crutches in this show. He doesn't have the wheelchair anymore. I'm pretty sure he's on crutches.
Yeah, I don't think he's in the wheelchair either.
So
they kind of do the goodbye thing with Vince and serenade him off. And did you believe that? What was your over/under personally for when Vince would be back?
A month.
I thought he was going to stay out for a little while. I really thought they may push it like to the end of the year or something. I knew he'd be back. I didn't think it'd be as quick as it is. But we'll get to that point. Mm-hmm. And when we do, I'm curious your take on if you thought that was the plan or if you thought they had to bring him back due to other reasons. So we'll get there.
Yep, we will.
But for now, Vince is gone, officially ending this odyssey that began in April of '98. Vince versus Steve Austin. Actually, I guess technically you say began in December '97. Yeah. September as well. So been going on almost 2 years, and it finally looks to have come to an end here as Austin finally moves on. Taker's been vanquished, and now he'll look to take on a new number one contender as we hit the SummerSlam. So overall thoughts, I think we pretty much gave them on the show, Scott. I think we both liked it pretty well.
It was a great show.
Definitely want to go check out. I think it's definitely one, if you haven't watched in a while, you might be pleasantly surprised at the quality of it there. So, Scott, why don't we hit the feedback up?
Oh, okay. Why don't you begin?
Wrap the business.
I'm sure you already have the page open, so go ahead.
I don't, actually. I'm going to put it right now.
So, anyway, definitely look for this.
Now I got it up. I got it up. Dragon and Rockwell. While Phil Loader's an improvement on the awful King of the Ring, this is still a patchy filler show. Edge's brief IC title reign came to an end in a good opener with Jeff Jarrett. With Gangrel costing Edge a title, we move one step closer to the tag division reeking of awesomeness. We are then provided with 3 more title changes in quick succession. The Hardys are hot-shotted to the tag titles when they weren't really ready for them, and losing the belts so quickly and dominantly to the Acolytes and handicap matches in their favor buried them rather than pushing them. Mideon should never have had singles gold, so losing to D'Lo Brown was for the best. Mideon was only champion because he found the belt, a method later used by... Do you know who? No? Hacksaw Jim Duggan for the WCW TV title. Big Boss Man was back in a hardcore title picture, and he put on a good brawl with Al Snow to take back the title. Nobody cared at all for Big Show and Kane with Bombastic Bob as a referee. Big Show and Bob are in cahoots, you say? Who cares? Shamrock defeats Blackman in a hard-hitting, if not too short, match in the car park. Summer of Ass was already turning into a big pile of ass as Road Dogg and X-Pac defeat Chyna and Billy Gunn. The faces managing to carry the heels to a good match. Triple H and The Rock is another good match, but it was again lumbered by the strap stipulation. Rock cut an excellent scathing promo on Hunter before the match, referring to a curtain call. Hunter becomes number one contender, and the seeds are seen for Rock versus Billy Gunn. Finally, Austin retains his gold against Undertaker in another good match, lumbered with a poor stip. Undertaker was a broken down man at this point. WWF has got to milk as much out of Austin Taker cow as they were going to get. As it was the Russo era, there'd be another stipulation based on the outcome of the match. So Vince is now gone. Let's see how that works out. Definitely a show worth watching once, but not a classic by any stretch.
Okay. Corey Ferreira. Back to a good pay-per-view after the shitfest that was King of the Ring 99. Edge versus Jarrett. Great opening match here. And shock here with Edge coming in as the IC champ. Jarrett wins the belt. Michael Hayes is wrestling on a WWF pay-per-view. This match is not bad, but not as bad as some of the other undercard matches on this show. Acolytes get the win. Who the fuck put a belt on Mideon? He put it on himself. Good God, this is bad. And Mideon should not be wrestling, period. Thankfully, after 1 year, D'Lo takes a spot back as a King of Europe. Bossman Al Snow. Well, this is fucking trash. Wow, Corey Ferreira. Big Show Kane. Well, they were dumb enough to put this on pay-per-view again, and it's still fucking trash. Wow. Shamrock vs. Blackman. He better not call this trash. Something that should have been really awesome. They had built up Shamrock being this UFC guy, and Blackman is this martial arts expert. Sadly, we did not get something great, and this is really bad. We should play the music for him. I think we should play Blackman's music under his comments from now on. In the DX rights match. So a match that determines if the faces or heels who used to be in DX can use the name. Well, the concept is dumb, and Waltman is the only good worker in this one. Faces win, but this whole gimmick will be pretty redundant soon. Triple H versus The Rock. All right, time to get back to Triple H Rock. Love these two guys working together. Winner faced the champ at SummerSlam. So maybe I think this was for the top shot at SummerSlam, I guess. This is the best match of the night and a forgotten one between these two. Triple H wins and gets a shot at the title next month. Austin versus Taker. At this point, I'm over these two wrestling each other. In 97 and 98, it was fine, but now it's just dead beyond belief. I guess the whole selling point is that if Austin won, then Vince would be banned from TV. Well, they go for a while. It's not as great as their match from SummerSlam 98. Well, not many are. Austin wins, retains his title, and Mr. McMahon is gone from WWF TV for good. Or is he? Overall, a pretty solid show. The undercard is pretty trash. Big word from Corey tonight. Aside from the opening match. The double main event matches are great, and as of now, we are looking at Austin versus Triple H for the title at SummerSlam, which is great because they are my number 1 and number 2 favorite guys of all time. And here is Meltzer's grades. 3, 2, quarter star, 1 1/4, -1, 1, 2 1/4, 3 1/4, 3 3/4.
Ryan Everett. After the tragedy at Over the Edge and the total suckfest of King of the Ring, the Fed bounces back with a solid fully loaded. The show starts with a surprising new IC champ, Edge, losing the belt back to Jarrett the night after winning it. A pretty good match. Also features Deborah in a great green bikini. Next, we see the underdog Hardys and weird old man Michael Hayes drop the tag belts back to the Acolytes in a match that focuses way too much on Michael Hayes. The Boss Man wins a hardcore title in an okay match to make it 4 new champs in 4 matches. I was always upset with the DX match because if you're trying to build up Billy Gunn, he shouldn't be jobbing to Road Dogg and X-Pac, and that's a good point we didn't really get into, Scott. Triple H and Rock have a pretty good strap match where at least it's just used to whip the hell out of each other, so no stupid touch all 4 corners rule. Taker and Austin have a Russo-rific brawl with something like 5 extra people getting involved, just a notch below their SummerSlam 98 match.
Wade Ferrari. Solid show. There was a big improvement from King of the Ring. Edge and Jarrett was a real good opener, although I didn't get the point of having Edge winning the title if he was just going to lose it right back. Acolytes vs. Hardys and Michael Hayes was a fun match, even though the ending was predictable, with the team with the numbers advantage losing due to the manager getting caught and pinned at the end. You think they would have learned from the powers of Pain and Fuji at Mania 5. Boss Man and Snow was an entertaining hardcore brawl. Show and King was a lot better than their King of the Ring match, although that's not really saying much. We get the formation of the Unholy Alliance of Undertaker and Big Show, a cool team. There was a good usage of both guys. We'll get more to that next month. Don't know why they had Shamrock win and get his revenge on Blackman when they were doing another match at SummerSlam. DX tag match was good, although having Billy Gunn get pinned made no sense, as they had just started pushing him and he was about to enter a program with Rock. Speaking of Rock, him and Triple H have a great strap match. Triple H picks up the win and seems poised for big things. Rock, unfortunately, takes a step back for the next couple months. Austin Taker was a good main event. That was easily Taker's best match since his match with Austin the year before at SummerSlam.
Jay Hinchy. I'm trying to goad Jay into putting his Money in the Bank tickets on the line in the trivia tournament. If he was a true fighting champion, he would do it. Instead of just a transitional champion that he is. Much better pay-per-view outing from the last month as Buffalo gets fully loaded. Edge defends his newly IC title against Jeff Jarrett in a good opener. Jarrett wins the IC title back with help from Gangrel. Blah, blah. Hardy Boys, along with Michael Hayes, defend their newly won tag titles against the Acolytes in a fun match. Okay. I love you, Jay Hinchy, and I love everyone else. We're just going to skim this feedback if everyone's going to give results. Give your thoughts. Give your opinions. We know who won the matches. We talked about it for an hour and a half in between jokes and non sequiturs. So we know what happened. We want to read your feedback. We want your opinions and your thoughts on the show, but just provide that. Provide that. So Jay Hinchy likes the show. I don't think I even have to read to know that. Overall, solid show. We begin an interesting lead into SummerSlam.
Corey Mack. Fully Loaded was a huge improvement over the previous month's effort. High point, new blood getting a chance to shine. Edge, Hardy's, D'Lo. Low point, this is the era of hot-shotting titles everywhere, something I've never been big on. This show in particular has title change after title change for no real reason. Extra point, the main event scene needs a shakeup. It's always some combination of Austin, Taker, and Rock, with Foley occasionally sliding in.
See, that's how you do it. Thank you, Corey Mack. Mm-hmm. And this is how you do it, too. Stevie G. Massive improvement on the previous month, which is pretty horrendous. Why have Edge win the IC belt untelevised, even if it's in Canada, just to lose the next night? Was it just fulfill Jarrett's contextual title runs? If it was to elevate Edge, it didn't work. Edge looked like a fluke champion. Surely it would have made Edge look better if he had a hard-fought defeat. Edge would then look close to be on Jarrett's level, but as a rookie would have to learn and grow to beat someone of Jarrett's stature.
Steve Rogers. I don't know, it was a solid show, and there were some changing of the guard moments to see in hindsight, but I've never been much of a fan of this stretch until certain big debuts are made throughout the last few months of 99 and early 2000. Still a decent show overall, with some fun with Triple H, Rock, and Austin padding his title reign stats. One thing in hindsight, though, that is interesting. Triple H gets the win over Rock, as he is positioned as the top heel in the company. Yet in the Rights to DX match, Billy Gunn eats the pin, putting Road Dogg over. By the way, the results on ProWrestlingHistory.com refer to Gunn by his Mr. Ass gimmick, and the result simply says Road Dogg pinned ass.
Makes sense.
I get it in terms of wanting to put the faces over for purposes of the storyline and protecting China, but that does seem to suggest the King of the Ring push for Gunn was very short-lived. I suppose hindsight obviously says that Gunn was one of the worst King of the Ring recipients ever, though Mabel gives him a run for that money. But you wouldn't expect the reigning King of the Ring winner to eat the pin in a tag match at the next pay-per-view.
All right, see, these guys are delivering now with the feedback. This is what we want. Opinions, takes, hot takes.
Yes.
Dennis Nunez. This one falls into the good show but could have been better category. While the undercard looked good on paper, the matches themselves left a lot to be desired. King Ass has his first post-King of the Ring win, pay-per-view match, and it's a tag match in the mid-card. Oy vey. 1999, and The Rock just doesn't get along as the People's Champ, suffers his 5th straight loss on pay-per-view, this time against a betrothed Triple H. Unnecessary evil, though, as Triple H is on his quest to become the WWF champion. I was really into Hunter's mission during this time. I was kind of rooting for him to win the big one. He was so committed to becoming champion, how could you not? It was pretty cool to see Vince put back on his commentary shoes and call the First Blood main event. That's right, Scott. I forgot to mention that. It's a fun match, although a notch lower than SummerSlam 98. It's a shame that Taker had the mobility of an old person, or Scott here, because it was healthier, the match would have been even faster. But it's fine the way it is, and the run-ins at the end make sense. Jim Ross once again brought the goods with his call at the end when Taker's busted open. It was look at him, ring the damn bell. Solid show, good way to kill 3 hours, and it looks to be the end of an era, as Vince McMahon will never be seen on television again. Or will he?
We have a debut. Connor. One word. Connor. Like Magnus. Connor. They're both British.
Sure.
And look at this. See, he makes his debut, and look at these concise feedback comments. Good, fun, and interesting show here. Much improvement from the King of the Ring. The tagline was end of an era, and to be honest, it felt like it at the time. New stars were starting to shine. Edge, Hardy's D'Lo. Fresh faces were being pushed into the main event scene, or with main event players. Holly, Gunn, X-Pac, Triple H. And you felt the era of Vince Austin Taker feuding was over, and new refreshing storylines were starting following this show. For me, that's what makes me recommend this show. Most of the wrestling is good. The correct guys went over. But you get excited about what was going to happen next. Could Triple H become the next big main event player? Could Gunn and X-Pac hang with the established stars? Very intriguing time, because the WWF was still red hot, Russo was still booking, and there was issues with it. But you can see the WWF changing and going into a new and exciting direction, and I, for one, all for it. Best match, Triple H Rock. Worst match, Shamrock Blackman. Recommend. Excellent comments, Connor.
Brad Woodling, just focusing on the main event here, the end of the corporate ministry angle era, and my favorite Undertaker music and entrance ever. The best part of this match, Vince McMahon coming out to do commentary. Both guys busted each other open earlier in that evening, which is a decent subplot. I like the intrigue as they could reopen anytime in the early goings of the match. Vince helped sell this too, and I love when he yelled at Undertaker for choking Austin with his foot rather than pushing on his wound, which he had a flesh-colored bandage on. The spots at the steel steps over the barricade were pretty original, but the rest of the match was your typical main event brawl, only saved by the commentary. There were more low blows and wrestling moves here. X-Pac with a great reaction when he comes down. What a pop. Second loudest to Austin in this match. When Austin hits the camera shot, watch the dude in front row start going crazy because he watched Undertaker bleed. Austin really bleeds post-match as the brawl continues. Match itself is 2 stops, with the whole pre- and post-match stuff with Vince and Triple H Rock put around it is 3 for me. Probably a little high, but the actual match is like 15 minutes, which was a good thing. And a good thing was also these last few feedbacks really delivered. You guys just read over examples like these last 4 or 5, and I think it'll make this process a lot more streamlined, and we'll be able to fit them in when we just hit these concise points instead of reviewing the show. Also, Scott, we missed a couple things at the end there, which is just bound to happen at the end of these shows. Yes, Vince was on commentary. We also failed to mention X-Pac interfering and causing Taker to get busted open, really paying off that whole angle where X-Pac and tried to save Kane from Undertaker.
Yes. Yep.
And that would play into SummerSlam the next month.
I forgot Vince commentated in the match too. That's
we're bound to forget little things the way we ramble on and for hours.
But that was pretty cool though. That was pretty cool. I mean, it didn't affect the match in any way, but it was pretty cool.
Right. So there you go. There's your feedback, and there's your fully loaded 99. Thanks to those who shared. All right, where are we at? Wednesday night, Scott. We have Saturday night's main event, July 28th, 1990. It's a pretty good episode. I'm almost done watching, taking my notes. Very loaded in-ring episode. Very rare for a Saturday night's main event. A lot of good matches. So we got that coming up Wednesday. Also Wednesday night, we will be revealing the second annual PTB Trivia Tournament matchups.
Yes.
So that should be a lot of fun. We have
a few good ones. A few interesting
There is
ones.
one big one on the Sunday nights.
Yes.
That's going to take someone, a major threat, a major player out of the game early. So that should be fun. So Wednesday night, we'll do those 2 things. The next Monday, we're back with Kevin Kelly to do the first half of 1999. And next Wednesday, we have headlines. We'll preview Extreme Rules, get a little half-baked ideas from Jordan Duncan, get a little NFL draft review with Kyle Forschetti.
Yes.
And that will be it for the next 2 weeks there. And then hopefully, as we said earlier, we'll reschedule DDP, hopefully for some time in June.
Yes.
So, with all that said, we're going to go ahead and wrap things up. That is Scott. I am Justin. Hope everyone enjoyed this show. We'll be back Wednesday night from Omaha for Saturday night's main event. Until then, later.
Good night, Judy.
Good night, Leilani and Jimmy. Because remember, he
Donna.
managed them.
And Donna.
And Sherry and Velvet and Moolah and Dawn Marie and quick if you
Dawn
name
Marie?
it.
Oh wait, that Dawn
Her
Marie.
mother. Can you name the?
Is there such a thing as Dawn Marie Senior?
Can you name the Jumping Bomb Angels quick? I will buy you your Narragansett Summers if you can name them without looking them up.
Something to Tana.
Can you do this without being racist? Let's put it that way.
No.
No chance?
No chance. Something to Tana.
All right, I'm going to look it up. It's Norayu Tateno, so you were close. Itsuki Yamazaki.
Okay. Okay.
So I will buy you one half of a beer because you
one half drink at Sharks.
Kind of the last name. And then we'll pour the rest out in remembrance of Cops that was canceled by Fox today. Was that about
Ooh. I didn't realize it was still in the air.
Didn't realize you were still in there, so let's wrap up.
I never do the baseball with you again. Yo, I never do the baseball with you. Cause your hoochie coo is so smooth. Is it such a sin to let me in? Hooked by your ever so shyness. Want that bush. Heard you from Flatbush. Ran after you. Caught you. Brought you to Long Island. Styling for a while in my hut. I was on a cut for a peck. A silly Greg Peck. You try to play me new. Plug when you disconnect. I try to touch your hair. You would say no. Yo, I try to touch your hair. You would say no. Is it cause you want my financial flaunt? First you gotta please me. Nice and easy, but I guess you want that in reverse, so I stand plug first to see. We got a serious block. Turn the other way. Ooh, what do I spot? A hoopin' hey love who sent left a trace. Had a stash of Apache with a body that's safe. All to the A. Now you wanna swing? Forget the rap. Yo, Black Sheep, sing.
Your band, your band, your band, honey dip, your band, your band, your band.
Yo, your band by the preacher man. You played yourself a spoon out of me, a step. Never mind, love. The faith is being kept.
Now, remember my padlock, Jody, here's the fact. Jack Little whip, but she was acting whack. Jack wanna lay, but laying ain't exact, cause the past 4 or 5 she was laying by the pack. Hip to the witness, putting on a plan, no money, no more, putting cat for the man. Jack know the honey rings, playing the game. Woman want a Bogart man for the fame. Ah, dame, damn. Sam is the man that you plan to command. Nothing new about a neighborhood. You know what? Padlock Jody wanna cut. Jack's thinking cap ain't minor to attack.
Yo, here's 20, 40, 60, pay me back.
Conscience appears, yo, Jack, what you doing? You play the cold while honey is cooling. You don't have to if you don't want to. You don't have to if you don't want to. So he begins with the ring, ring, ring. Hey, Judy girl, how you doing? Seen you with another man, what you doing? Screwing? Ooh, shame on you. What, you can't wait for the big bait? Well, I'ma tell you straight on it, child. I'm keeping a fake.